Hi, everybody. I'm Kevin Broussard. I'm the Programs and Finance Director for the U.S. Association of Blind Athletes. I'm live here in Fort Wayne, Indiana at our Paralympic training site at Turnstone Center. And really excited today to be here with a couple Paralympians in the great sport of goalball, and excited to talk to them about their experience in the sport. We have Tyler Marin and Lisa Chukowski.
Hi.
Hello.
And I will let them introduce themselves. If you're not familiar with these two superstars, Tyler, you want to kick it off with your introduction?
Absolutely. Hey, my name again is Tyler Marin. I've been part of the USA team on and off, mostly on, for about 19 years now. I've competed in 3 Paralympic Games, won a bronze medal in Athens in 2004, a silver medal in Rio in 2016. So been playing the game for a total of about 21 years.
Hi, I'm Lisa Chukowski. I am a 5-time Paralympic athlete in the sports of goalball and track and field. I was a silver medalist in the F12 discus in 2000 in Sydney, 2004 goalball silver medal, 2008 Beijing gold medal, and 2016 bronze medal for goalball. I've been a part of Team USA since 1998 and love every minute of it.
All right. Well, we just saw both of you guys scrimmage. How do you think the scrimmage went? Are you guys feeling good with training?
Feels really good. I mean, we're just doing the best we can to keep our skills sharp, but we all feel really good.
Yeah, I think our training is going quite well. We're back doing our strength and conditioning and agility along with our goalball training, and I feel like we've gotten a lot of our cobwebs worked out, so it's going well.
Excellent. Well, you know, the big news a few months ago in the Paralympic world was the postponement of the Tokyo Games, which was devastating news. But glad to hear you guys are back at it. Can you guys each talk about how that postponement affected you and how each of your teams have moved on for the road to Tokyo 2021 now? Tyler?
Yeah. So for the guys, you know, of course, as an elite athlete, when you're preparing for something and you're fighting tooth and nail to make yourself better, and you're going through your plans, you've stepped into phase 3 and you're, you know, getting ready for it. It's pretty devastating, right, to have something like that pushed back. But I think the true mark of a champion is being able to pivot on a dime, and essentially that's what we did. The games were postponed. We stepped back and said, okay, we're gonna make our team better for this. We are going to be better for this. And really, honestly, I think we are. Our team has gotten a better chance to work with our new head coach, new assistant coach, Coach Young and Coach Wallace. We've gotten more time to solidify our game plans, understand what kind of team we want to be. So I think, honestly, it's been very, very positive for us, as much as it is a challenge to have to wait even longer now. So,
Yeah, Lisa?
I will mirror some of what Tyler said with the devastation was felt, you know, throughout our pools, both men and women. You know, it is difficult to be on a path and then have that path altered to the degree that it was. But I firmly believe, you know, everything happens for a reason. And like Tyler said, when we've taken that extra year now and are focusing on, for us, solidifying our offensive plans, our strategies offensively. We're spending a lot of time building even more muscle and quickness, which is always beneficial. And what's really important to me is within the first postponement, I was talking to one of our resident athletes here, Amanda Dennis, and, you know, we're just kind of talking about it, and her words are what push me every day. She goes, that gives us one more year to get better. It's as simple as that, you know, give us one more year to be better and be the best that we can be. So I think it's going well for everybody.
Lisa's getting pretty ripped too, so I think it's paying off.
Definitely. I love how you guys have turned that corner. Instead of focusing your energy negatively on, you know, being devastated at the postponement, like Amanda said, it's one more year to get better and better and work on the strategy, get ripped, as you guys call it in the
That's right.
we got the swole factory,
the swole going
as they call it, in the weight room behind us. Can you guys give us a little insight on what an average day for your training looks like here at the Paralympic training site at Turnstone?
Yeah, so get up early-ish in the morning, I guess, depending on the type of person you are, and shed a few tears thinking about the beating that's coming up. and then you know, we come over, we get warmed up. Our training, we have split days, so one day strength and conditioning, one day on the court. So we're training 5 days a week right now. Every training session takes about 2 hours, give or take, 2.5 hours, maybe up to 3 if it's a full court day. Strength and conditioning is full dynamic warm-ups. That takes us about 20-25 minutes just for the warm-ups. We go through multiple full body strength, power movements, core exercises. Our scrimmage day, or our on-court days, are a mixture of scrimmages and training scrimmages and drills. And I mean, it's not too uncommon for us to burn 1,500, 1,800 to 2,000 calories every training session. We're cranking up our heart rate the whole time and just going through our paces. But like I said, we feel good. We're glad to be here, and we're just getting started with our training, going into phase 1 again for the push for Tokyo.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler said mostly what a typical day looks like for us. I do a little bit of extra training, probably because of my age, I guess, and my craziness. I spend about an hour every day doing some cardiovascular activity, and then also have some time focused at least once or twice a week to work on some of the strength activities that I need to work on for some of my injuries.
Why you gotta show me up like that? Throw me under the bus.
I'm older than you, though, so you're okay. I got you. I'm older.
By like 2 months, yeah. Thanks, yeah.
You're not older. You just have more experience. That's how we'll
Actually, I'm older than him. We do share. Tyler and I share the same birthday.
We do.
We just a different year.
Right.
I'm definitely much older than you.
Gotcha.
So with that experience, as you guys have mentioned, you've each been to a few Paralympic Games. And so that process, which is typically a 4-year process to get to the games. This year, it's going to be a 5-year process. So can you talk about, with the COVID and the postponements going on, what has your leadership role morphed into as one of those veterans on the team trying to help out the younger players through these tough times? Tyler?
I think for me, my leadership style has always been lead by example. And truly, I think when you're an athlete, and even more so when you're a visually impaired athlete, you have to be strong. You have to be adaptable. You have to roll with the punches. You have to be willing to take those challenges and climb over them. There's winners have obstacles, losers have excuses. Right. And so there are no excuses. So I think for me, taking a leadership role with my guys is talking to them regularly, telling them, hey, this is still happening. We are still there. We're qualified. We are going, and I want you to go with us. I'm working every day. And as we found out, my age isn't quite what Lisa's is, but I've been around for a while too. Like it's hard. The training that we're putting ourselves through is hard. And I do my best to set the bar high for these guys and make sure that they're trying to keep up, and they're really doing a great job with it.
I would like to agree with what Tyler's saying with the, constant communication with the team, talking to them and discussing what's happening here at the training center. And just kind of keeping that line of communication open. Like if there are concerns, or if there are some folks that are training at home might find that they're having trouble getting into a facility or finding different equipment to meet the need of the workout, just making sure to encourage everyone to just keep those lines of communication open, and how we can brainstorm, work together as a team. And also, like Tyler said, just keeping the positivity and the drive. Like when you're here at the training center, I don't know about Tyler, but when I walk in here every day, I'm so proud and I'm so driven. I don't think about my age, but I just think about, I think about going to Tokyo and representing our country, and it's such a moving feeling. I don't know about you, Tyler.
It's an honor, right?
Yeah, it's a total honor.
Yeah.
And like that pushes us and each other. Like our camaraderie here as residence athletes, like I love to cheer people on, because I know how good that makes me feel to have someone encouraging me, especially during some of the really tough exercises and circuits that we're doing. So just sharing that passion that I feel like we have here via communication, voice messaging or video, whatever we're doing, I think is such a key component.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just a reminder, this is a Facebook and a Zoom live. So if you guys have any questions that you want to pop into the chat box, we're going to be answering those here in a few minutes. So please send those in, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. As part of National Blind Sports Week, one of the goals is we're trying to introduce people to all the great resources and information out there in the blind sports world. So I'd be curious, Tyler and Lisa, to know how each of you got started in blind sports, and anything you'd like to share, lessons learned that you may have wanted to told your younger self getting involved in blind sports.
For sure. So I actually got involved with blind sports through a sports education camp that was put on by the Michigan Blind Athletic Association, which was a chapter of the USABA. So really, it gave me my start. I grew up in a family of athletes, but when I started losing my vision due to retinitis pigmentosa, I just, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I couldn't really play basketball anymore. I loved basketball. I enjoyed other events like wrestling and track and field, but I didn't know what I was going to be able to do to continue those things. They taught me how to adapt those sports. And they taught me that even as a blind athlete, I can be competitive. I can still be an elite athlete. And so I think like what I would have told myself back then, coming into elite sports, adaptive sports, regular sports, whatever it was I was doing, was to do it to the best of my ability and take those opportunities. Build a good foundation, learn about your body, train yourself well, because it is a lot of work, but I think anything that's worth attaining is worth putting in the work. And so, I've made it here, and I feel really great about what I've done over my career. But to anybody out there who is maybe just getting that journey started, don't be afraid to put in the time, the work, the energy to learn about your body and make yourself a better athlete.
My involvement into goalball and blind sports actually came through an adaptive physical education teacher in New Jersey. There wasn't any sports camps going on. And so I went to a public school, and an adaptive physical education teacher came out to my high school to help provide some like positivity, some information, I guess, toward our physical education teachers, to say, you have a student coming into your gym class, they have a visual impairment, it's okay. Don't put them on the sidelines, to try to give them some peace of mind as to like how to adapt some of the activities that we do in gym class. So he came one day and showed me this goal ball, and I kind of looked at him kind of funny. I was like, okay, goal ball, that's nice. I definitely did not show interest right away. At the time, I honestly started to find my niche. I was going to a public school, and I got involved in track and field. And although I'm not a runner, I found out that I was a thrower. So I could throw a shot put or a discus, and I didn't need my vision to do it. I could throw it. Now, retrieving it was a whole other story, but I had found my niche, and I found that I could excel out in it. And it was my first time where honestly I found acceptance in a mainstream activity. Like Tyler said, growing up with a visual impairment, like my parents put me in softball and ball sports, and it was a very unsuccessful, kind of scary experience most times. So I didn't really want to do competitive sports. And so when somebody taught me about track and field, I was like, all right, come on, it's a circle, right? You can't get lost and you can stay in lines. But it turned out that I was much better at throwing objects than running. So when this physical education, this adaptive PE teacher came and told me about goalball, I was like, yeah, come on, I don't know about this. I'm doing okay. Well, he was very determined, and a year later he came back again and said, this is a goal ball, just throw it a couple times for me. And I was like, okay, fine. So I threw it, and he's like, you got a pretty good roll. I'm like, yeah, okay. And he said, there's a sport, it's goal ball. He described it to me, and again, I was a little hesitant. Again, I found some acceptance, and I was finding some success in mainstream sports, and I didn't know anything about blind sports. So I was literally blinded by my own perceptions of blind sports, like literally blinded by it. And so he's like, I'm going to give your name to the Association of Blind Athletes of New Jersey. I'm like, okay, sure. And so, well, they were very determined, and they gave me a call, and I started talking to one of the goalball members, and they said, come on out and try this sport. I'm like, I don't know.
Will you people leave me alone?
Yes, exactly. I was like, oh, come on, I'm good. And it was like track season, it was spring track. So I was like, I got stuff to do, Well, they were pretty like, they're like, okay, we'll come out and try track and field. There's a whole, you could compete as a blind athlete. And I was like, oh, that sounds a little more appealing. Okay. Well, I never did it, but in the fall, they just kept calling me all summer. And I finally was like, okay, fine, I'll come to this practice. And in October of 1995, my mom drove me to my first practice in West Orange, New Jersey. And I will tell you that my eyes were open to this amazing sport. And with this amazing sport, there were so many people that entered my life and changed who I am. Like they have shaped and changed who I am today. And so I'm so thankful for that because of their persistence and them not giving up on me, my life is totally different in this most amazing way.
For sure.
So this will be our last question before we go to our Q&A from the Facebook and Zoom live chat. So make sure you get your questions in. But each of you talked about your experience when you were younger and you kind of you learned about blind sports. You have any final advice or piece of advice for young athletes out there who are blind, who are trying to get into blind sports like you did? Any lasting thoughts?
I would say that just don't feel isolated. Don't feel like you don't have options. There's no resources for you, because there are. They can be a little tricky to pin down sometimes, but the USABA is a great resource. There are other blindness organizations that have connections. Even if you're the only blind kid in your area, like there are ways for you to put together a goalball team, a rec goalball team. There's ways for you to connect with other more elite teams. There's so many sports that you can get into. You don't need vision to wrestle. You don't need vision to do track and field if you adapt it the right way. You don't need vision to weightlift. You can make yourself an athlete. You can be elite. It's your choice. That's what it comes down to, is it's your choice. And if you choose not to, that's your choice as well. But don't feel like you're stuck. Don't feel like you're isolated. Reach out and find those resources and be the best that you can be.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that and just try anything, try activities, anything that will get you to be physically active that you may have any interest in. Just get out there and try things. Don't be afraid. Just get out there, give it a shot. Parents, get your little ones involved early in any kind of activity. It's important to have that socialization and that drive, because there is something out there. If you want to be an athlete, there's something out there that you're going to have passion for, that's going to drive you to be the best athlete you can be. So just get out there and give it a shot. And if there's obstacles, reach out to the resources. Like Tyler said, USABA is a phenomenal resource, and there are other blindness organizations out there that can help give you resources and if you need assistance with advocacy. Because if you want to do it, if you have that dream, go for it.
Absolutely.
Definitely great pieces of advice there. I'm gonna toss it over real quick to our USABA national office in Colorado Springs. Kat Bokamp, we have any questions from the chat box for Tyler and Lisa?
We do. One question I think we should start off with is, during a tied game, do you feel more pressure when trying to score or when blocking the opponent's attempts?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, goalball is no different than any other sport. I mean, when the game's on the line, there's a lot of mental and physical pressure, and athletes handle that in different ways. Some go cool as ice and they execute. Some get revved up and they push harder. And I think Lisa and I have been playing long enough and are experienced enough that we take that pressure and we crunch it down into what it's supposed to be and use it for our advantage. So I don't think we get too crazy rattled, but yeah, absolutely. I'd be lying to you if I said, nah, never get nervous. Doesn't bother me a bit. Cool as a cucumber. Like, this is our passion.
Yeah.
And I would venture to say, and I won't speak for Lisa, but I'll let her chime in, but I don't even get so much nervous about the results. Although I do, I want to win, but I get more nervous because I want to be the best that I can be, and performing any less than that is unacceptable to me. So I almost get nervous because if I don't go out there and perform at an A+ rating in my own head, it's not cool. It's not acceptable. And so I get nervous about even just those things. Maybe that sounds weird. There's probably a sports psychologist that could help me. I don't know. But yeah, nerves are a part of it, even after the many years that we've been playing.
Absolutely. I want to add on to what Tyler said. I think him and I are very similar. We're striving for perfection always. Nothing, we're like nothing but your best, and that passion drives us to perfection. And then dealing with the pressure in any game situation, we have spent many years working on that, and it's definitely definitely some times when the butterflies are rocking and rolling in there, and breathing is so important. I will say, just dealing with that pressure, if it's domestically or internationally, just breathing. And I know personally when I'm in those high pressure situations, if it's a tie game, I'm literally just telling myself, go out there and achieve that perfection, and encourage my team to do that. So my inside voice is saying achieve perfection, but my outside voice is exhibiting some confidence for our team. Like, come on, girls, or guys, let's do this. Let's put up that goal line defense, or we can't talk when we're throwing. So I guess the goal line defense is what I would say.
And I mentioned it earlier too, but I have been in, and I know Lisa has been in that position where the game is tied and they put the ball in your hands and it's up to you. Like, I've been in that spot, few seconds left, the other team throws a penalty, the ball's in your hands, and you win it or you don't. And it's awesome. It's a privilege to be in that position. So yeah, again, nervousness is certainly a part of it, but it's an honor to be able to do something like that.
It's a great question.
Kat, any more questions from the chat boxes?
So we have one last question we want to highlight on, and it is, what advice would you have for a young athlete in the sport of goalball that wants to be the next Tyler or the next Lisa?
That's a good question. I think we've touched on a lot of different pieces to help contribute to that answer.
My answer typically always is understand that sometimes, and it's always out of good intention, always, but sometimes when we learn about adaptive sports, we kind of learn hey, this is nice version of it. This is a cute sport that they've made for the blind kids. Like, sometimes we learn that version when we're introduced to it, right? And I want to clarify for any young athletes out there, like, this is a competitive game. You have to be an athlete. And of course, you can play at a recreational level. Don't misunderstand me. But if you want to go to the highest level, if you want to go to the Paralympics, if you want to wear these jerseys, the USA, the Stars and Stripes, if you want to have that privilege, it has to be earned. And it is a fight. I don't want to daunt anybody with the work that needs to be put in, but just to understand that you have to turn yourself into a very good athlete. You have to work at it every day. You have to learn about how to be a better athlete, how to be bigger, faster, stronger. That's always the advice I give to players coming up, is build that foundation of good athleticism, and then come and find us and we'll teach you how to do the mechanics of the game. But make yourself an elite athlete first and treat the sport with the honor that it deserves.
I would agree with Tyler. Really build your foundation athletically, and honestly academically. It's very important to balance out your athletic career with an academic career, because there is life after goalball. And
okay, good. Glad I know that now.
It's important because goalball also, as much as it takes muscles and brute strength, it also takes using your brain and thinking. You're thinking about strategies, and you're thinking sometimes 5-6 plays ahead. You're constantly having to think fast. So challenge yourself physically as a elite athlete. Also challenge yourself academically and kind of emotionally and mentally to get that strength there as well. And then, like Tyler said, we'll come teach you how to play some goalball, or throw some big objects, I guess. Do some tire flips.
Right. And I think it comes back to, again, something that I kind of mentioned earlier. Lisa and I, just like she was saying, we are, I believe, successful at goalball because we challenge ourselves to be successful at life. You know, Lisa works full time. She's got a family. She's got a great son who is doing great in school, and that they're kicking butt. I've been married for 18 years. My wife and I have 4 kids. I own my own business. She homeschools the kids. Like we do life successfully as well. So it all ties together. If you want to be at the top, you got to challenge yourself to be the best in everything you do.
And realize that with that will come some sacrifices,
Yeah.
you know, for yourself. You know, we don't sacrifice our families. I think Tyler and I actually have immersed our families.
Yeah,
his family's bigger,
we
but we've immersed our families in what we love to do.
drag them into our passion.
You know, and it's awesome because my son, he wants to play goalball.
Yep.
And it's great. And, you know, we will use this as an opportunity to help also educate the kids at the school he goes to about blind sports and blindness, you know, blindness awareness. So
Yeah.
we've worked hard and we've seen the results, and I look forward to seeing the future of goalball, you know, but I also challenge the future of goalball.
Yeah.
Come to the gym. Come on now, challenge me.
Yep.
Challenge me, because you know what? It's also going to push me to work harder.
Yep.
So challenge us.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And I'll just get a quick plug in here. If you're an aspiring national team athlete for goalball and you want to try to come out to train here at the resident program, I encourage you to reach out to Jake Chukowski on the women's side and Keith Young on the men's side to see if we can make that happen. So just want to thank Tyler and Lisa for sharing your story today in your words of wisdom here. If you guys want to follow along with both of the women's and the men's goalball teams on their road to Tokyo, I encourage you to follow them on Facebook. I believe it's USA Women's Goalball Team and USA Men's Goalball Team is their Facebook pages. And yeah, it's great to hear your story as part of this National Blind Sports Week program. We got a big day tomorrow. We have judo and hockey on the slate. If you want to check out the rest of the full calendar, go to usab.org/blind sports day and follow all the action on Facebook as well. And thanks for tuning in. We're signing out here live from Fort Wayne. If Tyler and Lisa, if you want to give everybody a wave goodbye. And
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Go Team USA.
Go USA.
Bye-bye.